The management of EVE Online got together and said, what is the future of EVE Online? Is it a game that we're going to eventually sunset? The CEO's answer, it's going on forever.
EVE Online is a wonderful science fiction space opera that happens 21,000 years in the future, where players fight over power and with each other to become, the rulers of their galaxy and their peers.
EVE Online is probably the most consistent MMO in the world. Even World of Warcraft, I would wager, does not have a steady stream of interest and income as EVE Online. We have a very loyal fan base, people who've been playing our game religiously for 16 years.
We have around 500,000 players that play the game every month. We are free to play. In physical space, EVE Online is around 7,000 solar systems, and each solar system is multiple light years across. So the game is almost endlessly big.
A lot of our hardcore players spend an insane amount of time and energy planning. They're just really great people who are really invested in the game. I think that's one of the biggest things that separates us from other games.
We take influence from our closest surroundings. We're here in Iceland, we're in Reykjavik, Northern Atlantic, harsh weathers, country that's constantly trying to kill you. If it's not earthquake, it's volcanoes going off, or horrifying winds or snow or endless darkness or endless light. My dad is an artist. He worked as VFX and graphic designer for a TV station when I was very young. We started out getting a Macintosh SE and then a fancy PC home. I'm kind of brought up with very early Apple games like Arkanoid and things like that.
I had a Pong system, I had an Atari 2600, a Nintendo, a Sega. I was a nerd, I got beat up in high school.
CCP is formed in 1997. Gaming scene was almost non-existent in Iceland when the company is founded. The EVE Online that we see today has taken 23 years. Initially, it took probably 3-4 years of active development.
EVE Online is almost 100% a free market. You can buy and sell just about anything. There are a couple of things that are regulated, but very few. You can steal things from other players and sell them. You can build things and sell them. You can go mine and sell raw materials. The market is fantastic.
We have a lot of mercenaries, we have a lot of fighters, we have a lot of miners and industrialists, haulers. Players in EVE actually, they group together into corporations, and then those corporations group together in alliances, and now the players have found a way to group alliances into coalitions. And these alliances, like the largest ones in the game, are in the tens of thousands of players, and they of course have CEOs, and they have head of HR, they have like head of Intel and all the things.
The simplest combat that you can find is if you go accept a mission at a friendly space station, and then you'll fly around and you'll probably bump into pirates. There's a lot more complicated types of combat that you can get into. The most complicated, of course, being PvP.
We had a massive fight just after Christmas where we had close to 7,000 people in the same system fighting each other, but altogether, I think it was like 13,000 people trying to get into the system and kind of waiting at the game.
Usually your aim is to become fabulously wealthy, but not everyone's aim is to become wealthy. Some people just want to roam around and blow things up. Some people just view EVE Online as a giant group of friends. There are a lot of stories about people who've shown up in EVE and made friends that have lasted, decades in real life.
And that's one of the beauties about EVE, is that we know when people fly together for the first time, and when you die with someone, like that moment really creates meaningful friendships.
Generally speaking, if you play EVE Online at the right level, you can learn a lot of skills that are applicable to real life.
Someone had kind of collected incredible amount of these corpses, and he had created a cube of corpses in space. It's a beautiful cube, like even length cube of dead, frozen corpses in space. Just so incredibly poetic. What is the aim of life? It kind of comes down to us. And that's been one of the harder challenges for us, is to kind of figure out, like, the ultimate aim of the game is what you set it up to be.
Two people walk up to me with a 3-ring binder this thick, filled with ideas on how I can improve the game. It was fun to read that. I learned some lessons from that. It was great. But more importantly, 2 people loved my game enough to spend weeks and months creating like a giant 2-ring binder filled with stuff, really detailed stuff about EVE Online.
We see a lot of beautiful friendships that have formed out of EVE. We have plenty of marriages that have happened because of EVE. There are plenty of children that are maybe a little bit offsprings of EVE Online. I think EVE can definitely have a really positive impact on people's lives and, yeah, their futures.